Hello friends, greetings of the day. Welcome to the online session of business economics. In this sessions, we are learning chapter number 3, that is theory of production and cost. And in the theory of production and cost, we are learning unit number 2, that is theory of cost. And in that unit of theory of cost, until now we have completed various types of cost and the meaning of cost analysis. Now our next topic is various graphs of different types of cost. Here first in front of you is given fixed cost. So for example, in case of total fixed cost, this is the factory rent. The factory rent is assumed to be rupees 25,000 per month, and fixed cost, as you know, that it remains fixed for any level of output. So the fixed cost curve will be a horizontal curve. Let us see how it happens. So for example, the company produces 0 unit of output. At the 0 unit of output, the rent has to be paid 25,000, because if you produce or not, the rent has to be paid. So at 0 unit of output, the rent will be 25,000. Now if the company increases the production and it produces 100 units, again rent will be 25,000 only. If the company increases the production and produces 200 units, the rent will be 25,000 only. If again firm wants to increase the production and it creates 300 units of output, the rent will be 25,000 only. So at any level of output, whether the output increases or output decreases, the rent remains the same. So the rent is considered as fixed cost, and the curve for this fixed cost will be horizontal curve. It can also be considered as parallel to x-axis, or parallel to output axis, or we can say parallel to horizontal axis. So if a question is asked like that, what will be the shape or slope of fixed cost curve? So the answer is fixed cost curve will be horizontal curve. Next is given variable cost curve. Now you know that variable cost is the cost which changes with the changes in output. If output increases, the cost will increase. If output decreases, the cost will decrease. So there is a positive relationship, and when there is positive relationship between two factors, the curve becomes upward sloping. This is what you know very well. So for example, firm produces 0 unit of output, and at 0 unit of output, no variable cost will be incurred, because at 0 unit there is no variable cost. Suppose per unit variable cost is rupees 10. In order to manufacture 1 unit, the firm has to incur 10 rupees. If firm produces 0 unit, no raw material will be required. If there is no requirement of raw material, the variable cost will be 0. Now if the firm starts producing and it produces 10 units of output, the variable cost will be 100, because in order to produce 10 unit, 10 for 1 unit, it is 10. 10 into 10 is 100. This is the variable cost of 10 units. Again, if the firm increases 20 units produced, at 20 units the cost will be 200, because 20 unit and per unit 10. 10 into 20 is 200. Again, if the firm wants to increase the output and it produces 30 unit, at 30 unit the cost will be 300, and so on. We can say that if production is increased, the cost will go on increasing. If production decreases, the cost will go on decreasing. At 0 unit of output, the cost will be 0. This kind of cost is considered as variable cost. Next kind of cost is total cost. Now what do we mean by total cost? Total cost is simply the total of fixed cost and variable cost. If we can add up the portion of fixed cost and this portion of variable cost. The total of fixed cost and variable cost will be considered as total cost. So it is clear that total cost is equal to fixed cost plus variable cost. But do remember that the total cost curve will always start above fixed cost portion. Once again, total cost curve will always start from above the fixed cost curve. Why? Because at 0 unit of output also the firm has to incur certain kind of fixed cost. So the total cost will be the fixed cost plus variable cost. If at a 0 unit of output variable cost is 0, but there must be certain kind of fixed cost, so the total cost will be equal to fixed cost at 0 unit of output. Once again I am repeating, fixed cost plus variable cost is equal to total cost. At 0 unit of output, what will be the total cost? At 0 unit of output, the fixed cost will be the total cost, because at 0 unit variable cost is 0. So total cost will be equal to fixed cost, and the total cost curve will start from above the fixed cost portion. Next one, another kind of cost is stair-step variable cost. This is known as stair-step variable cost because it is having the nature like stair-step. So it is called stair-step variable cost. Now assume that one manager is required for 10 laborers. In order to manage 10 laborers, one manager is required and manager's salary is 10,000 rupees. Now if the firm has 10 laborers, one manager will be required, so the cost of management is 10,000 rupees. Now if the firm hires 20 laborers, again two managers will be required because one manager is able to handle only 10. We have 20 laborers, so two managers will be required and the manager's salary will jump to 20,000. Again, until 20 laborers, two managers will work. But if firm hires one more laborer, in that case, third manager will be required. Up to 30 laborers, three managers will be there, and when three managers are there, again the cost of management will be 30,000 here. This is by mistake. This will be 30,000, and again if the firm still hires 40 laborers. At 40 laborers, again fourth manager will be required, and the fourth manager, again the cost of management will be increased and it will become 40,000. So the cost jumps, and up to particular level it remains stable, then it takes a jump, then up to certain level it remains stable, again it takes a jump and remains stable. So the nature of this kind of cost is considered as stair-step variable cost. Now these curves are combined here. As you know that this is fixed cost curve, this is total variable cost curve, and this is total cost curve. As you know that total cost curve starts above the fixed cost curve. Total cost curve can never be 0 because at 0 unit of output there will be a portion of fixed cost. So at 0 unit of output total cost is equal to fixed cost. So it starts from above the fixed cost curve. Now we have to remember the shape and slope of these two curves. Here it is mentioned that total cost and total variable cost curve, these two curves, total cost curve and total variable cost curve, these are upward sloping. These two curves are upward sloping. Why they are upward sloping? Because as we increase the output, the total variable cost and total cost, they will go on increasing. If we decrease the output, they will decrease. It means that there is positive relationship between output and these two costs. So when there is positive relationship, the curve will always be upward sloping. Now, if it is asked that what is the shape of these two curve, once again I am repeating, what is the shape of total cost curve and total variable cost curve? The shape will be inverted S shaped. These two curves are inverted S shaped. This is not S but it is inverted S. You can see that this, if this goes round this way and this goes round this way, it will become an inverted S. So the total cost curve and total variable cost curve are inverted S shaped. Why this happens? This becomes because of law of